Hey there guys, my name is Christopher from the Red Rising Group, and welcome back to the Arifureta Season 1 Recap Series. So, before we carry on, I would like to make a small announcement to you guys. Basically, in order to ensure that these parts will not exceed 30 minutes, I decided that I would be covering the entirety of Season 1 per episode. Meaning that theoretically, there will be a total of 14 parts of this recap series and not 5. Now, I hope you guys will forgive me for this decision, but I genuinely didn't expect it to take this long when writing the script. So yeah, that was a massive fail on my part. Anyways, in case you guys missed out on part 1, then I highly recommend you to go and check it out before watching this part, especially if you haven't watched the anime or read the light novel before. Anyways, with all that introduction out of the way, it's time to start off the video. Be sure to like and comment the video if you enjoyed it, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And with that all said and done, let's get into it. After Hajime fell into the deep abyss below, Kaori, who deeply cared for him, desperately tried to push her friends away as she herself wanted to make the jump down along with the boy. However, before she could even do so, Captain Mel decided to knock her out, and with that, the entire class successfully managed to escape the labyrinth. After managing to do so, the group were all relieved and happy, but reality had kicked in. They watched one of their classmates lose their lives right in front of their very eyes, and they almost lost their own. Because of this, the appeal of being heroes in a brand new world died, and everyone retreated back to the inn that they were staying, ready to return back to the castle. However, that very same night, Hiyama found himself in an isolated location of town, thinking back to what he had done. After all, he had been the one who killed Hajime on the bridge. Though, it was because of this that he was confronted by one of his classmates who decided to give him an offer which allowed him to have the girl of his dreams, Kaori Shirasaki, only if he were to remain loyal to them. Without much option, Hiyama chooses to accept the offer, and his classmate walked away victoriously as they laughed happily, leaving Hiyama alone once again. Meanwhile, after falling down from the 65th floor, Hajime finds himself in an unknown cavern, hurt from the large fall, but ultimately still alive. After walking around the area for a bit, Hajime encounters a group of monsters, a small rabbit, a twin-tailed wolf, and a large white bear. And just one look at them told him that their strength was far greater than his, especially the bear's. And after watching the bear kill the rabbit right in front of him, Hajime attempts to run away. Unfortunately for him, the bear notices him before using one of its skill, the Gale Claw, which cuts off his left arm. Paralyzed with fear, Hajime could only watch as the monster eats his left arm right in front of him. And wanting to escape the monster, Hajime uses his transmutation skill in order to escape to the point that he ran out of mana. As his consciousness and his life began to fade, he felt water droplets fall on his face before dripping into his mouth, which not only helped keep him conscious, but it also helped heal his wounds, sans his missing arm. The reason for this was because Hajime had found the Divinity Stone, a very rare crystal which secretes a liquid known as ambrosia, which heals all wounds. Regardless of whether he had survived or not, the poor boy begins to pray that someone will help save him from this desperate situation, save him from the nightmare that he finds himself in. They didn't. An entire week has passed since he had first fallen off the bridge, yet no one had come to save Hajime, nor had he died yet, only due to the ambrosia. Because of this, his sanity begins to break as dark thoughts slowly overcame him. He begins blaming his classmates for his current predicament, and on the 10th day, the good-hearted boy known as Hajime Nagumo disappeared. What remained was someone much more terrifying. It was someone who was determined to survive, determined to fight back against the monsters which ridiculed him before. On that day, the monster of the abyss was born. Hajime's first prey was a twin-tailed wolf, as he uses his transmutation skill to lure them into a pitfall trap before killing them using a makeshift spear. Driven by his hunger due to him not eating for days, Hajime devours the fleshy meat of the monsters regardless of how it tastes, because all that mattered to him was satiating his hunger. However, that was when his body begins experiencing a change. An unendurable pain could be felt from inside his body. His body was being ripped apart, and this forces Hajime to quickly drink the ambrosia in hopes of receding the pain. And almost as fast as the pain disappeared, it returned again, forcing him to continuously drink the healing water. However, it was because of this that he was left awake during the entire process, as he couldn't even faint from his pain. And in order to handle the constant cycle of his body being broken and then repaired, his body begins to morph, with his pure black hair turning white, while his muscles and bones begin to grow, his once pale blue mana replaced by a dazzling crimson red. Now, the reason why he was experiencing so much pain was because monster meat was considered to be poison to the human body because of how they were created using mana crystals. And after the pain disappears, Hajime checks his status plate only to discover that not only were his stats boosted massively, but he also obtained new skills. Skills which once belonged to the twin-tailed wolves. Because of this revelation, Hajime realized what he had to do in order to survive against the monsters within the labyrinth. Ever since then, he would begin to improve his transmutation skill in order to create a weapon for himself. However, rather than a sword or spear like one might expect in a fantasy world, Hajime created a gun, which he named Donner. With his new weapon at hand, Hajime was capable of fighting back against the monsters which terrorized him in the past, including the claw bear that had crushed his spirit, growing stronger each time as he eats their meat. From there on, he sets off with a goal in mind, that he would survive in this new world and make it back home with a single promise to the world. Anyone who stands in my way will die by these hands. And with that, this marks the end of episode 1 of season 1 of the Arifureta series. Now, the next part will be covering everything which happens in episode 2 and more in the light novel. So, if you're excited for that, please be sure to subscribe to the channel so you'll never miss a video. Also, be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it and comment down below your thoughts about how season 2 of the series will turn out. And with that all said and done, it's time to end the episode. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye guys!